Hello and welcome back to the channel for the first Valor Fortitude game of the year. And I can't remember if I've just take a video of this battle, but it's one of my favorite scenario. It adaptation from a black powder scenario for Valor Fortitude, where two forces in the peninsula came along this road in a kind of meeting engagement. The French from that side and the British on the far side down there, and both of them want to take this farm here to get some supply for their starving forces, but also try to control territory. So both the forces have to attack in order to achieve point, and are 1 point if they control the village, just one unit must control one of the building, and 3 point if they control the large hill down there, 1 point for this hill, 1 point for that hill, and 5 points for the farm and control the building itself. Obviously, if the French manage to control the opposite village, they get a 3 point rather than 1, and vice versa. And that's it. The woods in the center is a dispersed one, and so is rock terrain, but not defensible. The unit can move across it. And that's it for the table. The forces will enter 24 inches from that side, and in this case it's a large force that I will show you when everything is on the table, but essentially 4 or 5 brigade per part. And here we are for a quick view to the list. The French is led by Marechal Suchet, which as a strategist and organized the trait, and there are 4 infantry brigade, 3 regular with line infantry, voltige detachment, etc., 1 made by Legers battalions, and artillery on cheval, and finally a large brigade of cavalry and a brigade of heavy artillery. The General Valet is the general for the artillery, as artillery as a trait. And in the brigade of cavalry, General Bussard arrives for the 2nd brigade Leger, the 3rd line brigade is Ficatier, 2nd brigade Bozelton, and the 1st brigade is Montmarie. For the British, we have Sir Thomas Graham as a leader. The trait is prescient and charismatic. The 1st brigade is a guard brigade led by Campbell, 2 battalion Scots Guard and Coldstream, 60 rifle field artillery. Then the 1st and 2nd brigade is Wallace Stopford. Both have 1 unit of Highlander, which has elite and tenacity upgrade. Then the King German Legion attached the Portuguese with disciplined musketry as upgrade. The Light Brigade, General Bernard, 2 understrained line battalion, Oxfordshire and Monmouthshire, 95th Rifle, 13 understrained Portuguese Cazador, 60 rifle detachment, and no, there is no mountain artillery, it's a mistake. Light cavalry, 3 unit of light cavalry, 2 dragoon, and 1 of King German Legion Hussars with horse artillery. And the heavy cavalry brigade has 2 squadron of the 16th dragoon, the General Grace at dashing, General Anson for the light brigade, Bernard for the light infantry brigade, Love for the King German Legion, Stofford and Wallace for the rifle brigade, and Said Campbell. And that's it now. The EA will run the dice with roll less. Because this is a solo game, one of the 2 army is led by the EA, and it will be the dice with roll the less. So I will run the French, while the British will be led by the EA, and the strategy for the attack is a right flank attack to commit all the forces to capture the farm, and then protect the left and attack in the center to support this main attack. or envelop left, so control the left, attack slightly in the right, hold the center, and then envelop to secure the gain on the right too. And this is the two main courses of the attack for the EA. And now proceeding to C, we'll have the first turn. And the first player will be activate will be the British, when so proceeding right into the British first turn. British first turn is done. It was only an entrance turn, so the Brits drew an all-out assault as a card. Here we have the light cavalry brigade, which is galloping towards the main objective, the farm. In the center, the light infantry brigade is advancing in march column, and on the left, the first rifle brigade is advancing to secure the position and hold that position according to the main strategy. And now proceeding into the French first turn. First turn for the French is over, and thanks to the trait of Marechal Suchet organized, which allowed the reserves to enter one turn early, all the French force is on the table. On the hill here, the brigade of cavalry is galloping against the British and towards the farm, and two squadron of Cheval, one of the Hussars, two the 11 and the 22nd Dragoon, and 2 units of Dragoon on foot to detachment, followed by the infantry brigade on General. This is the General Picathier, and line infantry, Swiss line infantry, and 2 veteran elite and melee Vistula regiment with their leader and a unit of a detachment of voltigeurs. Back of them, a battery of lured artillery, heavy artillery, which slowly try to get a position of fire to support the main attack later on during the game. And here on this side, the light battalions of the Legers Brigade, 1, 2, 3, 4, plus a unit attachment of cavalry. Thanks to the road, they move at the double, but as a regular move, because the road allowed to double the movement and stay 18 inches away from the enemy. They deploy regularly. The rest is moving on the road or outside the 24 or more inches. And on that side, the Brigade Boselton, 3 unit and 2 voltigeurs, the artillery is ready to be deployed. And in reserves, another infantry brigade with its 3 unit plus the voltigeur and the artillery. The veteran, there is a veteran unit in each brigade, and in this case is the boys with the bearskin here with red fanon on the elbow here, with the old coats are the veteran for the Legers, and here the veteran are the 2 units of Vistula. The Dragoon both have tenacity and melee, and every Dragoon has paid 1 point for carbine as an home rule. They have carbine. I pay 1 point for each unit to get the carbine rule. And that's it for the French. The game will last 3 hours, so let the fight begin. Moving to the British turn. And the British turn start with 6, a deadly, not useful at the moment, and then roll for the strategy. On the main right of attack, the British at the moment is slightly overnumbered, and so no bonuses, because the French are distant, but they are far more aggressive and numerous than the Brits. So no modifier, It's a tree is engage, and engage prefer more over fire, and engage in melee only if in advantage, so essentially they will move. In the center, the light brigade with the 2 is a probe. Maneuver, caution approaching enemy lines is perfect. On the left they must form an hold position, so no bonuses here. 2, it's a 2, it's a react, so react means unit will reach the objective position, only react to the enemy. Prefer shooting over melee, but at the moment they have not yet reached the position, not all the brigade, so someone will move, the other one take defensive stance and defensive position to hold the center. And now there is practically no fire phase, moving directly to the activation, and a quick recap at the end of the turn. The second British turn is also finished. The cavalry moved forward, deploy their artillery facing the incoming enemy, and wait for the support of the infantry. And the center, all the light brigade spread their ranks in open order formation after advancing a regular move. And on this side, the 51st second defensive position deployed their artillery. The rest, almost every unit in the brigade, take their line and slowly advance it, but not the threat immediately. Only the Gordon Islanders has moved faster, remaining in march column, and the reserves is arrived as per the dictate of the EA. Most of the infantry is sent on the main road of the attack, so the farm. So the infantry brigade here with the 51st, the 1st Scots, the Black Watch and the 40 line, and also the guard is sent on the right flank. This reserve here, just to not congestionate this side, is moving into the center but taking a right position, so they can push into the center slightly, or at least convert a move in support of the main attack to the farm. And that's it for the British turn. Now moving into the French turn. A second French turn is a 5, so stubborn, not bad for the later on. Some fire will be available for the French, but essentially it's another turn of movement, and so back at the end of the entire turn for a quick recap. Just one deployed artillery, and maybe, I'm not sure, some skirmisher can fire. First of all, the fire from this artillery on Cheval, and the 2 units with the skirmishers are in range, shaking the English artillery and put 1 casualty into the 51st Light Battalion. Then, after the shooting, every single brigade activated. So this one here, take the hill with the free activation under the order of Suchet. Then the light battalions of the Leger brigade open their order, and someone take defensive position, and someone open order to absorb casualty and put the light cavalry in front to be the closest target. On the other side, the heavy cavalry heavy artillery successfully activate, and both the cavalry brigade has activated, and the hussars take open order to protect the rest of the cavalry, while the infantry brigade with the important quote of veteran are successfully activate. And probably the last brigade, the brigade which are in reserve and are the Ficatier brigade, has taken the mixed order and are ready to move, but probably they will be sent on that side due to the amount of British reserves on the road for the farm. One unit of detachment is could take control of this first objective, and at the moment they will stay there, and no problem. Their help is not needed at the moment, and that's it for the French turn. Moving into the British turn. On the British turn, start with a 10, essentially useless because we have not physical objective on the table, but it's useful to activate a unit, at least if someone failed to be activated. Now proceeding to the fire, and then a recap. Before moving to the fire phase, I need to check the strategy for the right. It's a 5, so a charge. This means that advance toward the enemy, engage it if possible, emphasize melee over fire, avoid engagement only if in evident disadvantage. At the moment they cannot reach the melee, but they will move aggressively towards the enemy for sure. In the center it's a 3, and so it's a probe, so again they will move to take position and prefer fire over anything else. On the left they must hold, so no modifier. 4 is a probe, again they will shoot, take the final position and simply stay where they are. Now moving into the fire phase for the Brits. This artillery should but fail to hit anything on that side. On this flank, the line of the light battalion efficiently fire all their musket into the artillery, which not only being shaken by have to take a valor test immediately, and the artillery, although it's shaken, score 1 hit on this detachment of cavalry, also shaken it. No test for them, but 1 test on a 3+ for the artillery, which is successfully passed. And now proceeding to the activation phase for the British. Activation phase is done. Start the bad news for the British because the guard failed to activate. This unit here has taken their final defense position for the strategy. They will not move if not anything strange happen. The light brigade opened their rank and started to move across the woods, taking position to open fire and support the center, but especially supported the attack, while the cavalry down there has moved aggressively as the AA required. I'm not sure that this will end in a good idea, but they have to obey the order. Lucky for them, the infantry back successfully activate. And with the move at the double, they are just behind them in order to overtake and push on the attack. And due to the failure in the activation of the Guard Brigade, the King German Legion has taken their route to the right too, and we'll see in the next turn if the Guard will relieve them, free them for attack on the center or not. And that's it for the British turn. Now moving into the French turn. The French turn started drawing the card number 3. Confusion will come in handy when some brigade will be taking some defeat. And now moving into the fire phase and a recap at the end of it. On the side, the fire was pretty ineffective. The artillery missed, the carbine missed, so nothing happens on the British cavalry, and this is a good news for the Brits. On that side, the fire was much intense, and this 2 unit of voltigeur with a precise shot take two casualty into this battalion of line here, the 69. The combined battery of artillery put just one casualty despite the 5 dice into the 51st. The fire from the Leger in front, just one casualty into the battery, which now have to take a test, while the carbine and the skirmisher down there miss the Portuguese into the wood. So one valor test on a 3+ for the artillery, which is a failure. So the artillery of the light of this infantry brigade here is gone, and at the end of the fire phase, a valor test on let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4 unit, so it is a 4+, but is within the range of their officer is on a 3+, and is a failure, so a defeat for the British. No enemy within 6 inches, so no more casualty spread all around, and that's it. Now moving into the activation French phase. If the activation, if the failure of the activation of the guard is a bad news for the British, worst news is that the cavalry of the French failed to reach the order from Suchet and stay where they are, in range of charge from the Brits, which are eager to charge into an open order hussars and cause as much havoc as possible. To compensate this, the brigade back of them take the mixed order ready to attack the farms, and the battery of heavy gun on the hill take position and prepare the gun for the barrage from the next turn onwards. With artillery they can choose their target. The Montgomery brigade was sent in on the left French flank to support the attack and counter the incoming British. The rest of the army simply activate and move forward. The Legers take a better position to exploit their firepower, and this Bosalton brigade here has moved on the hill, ready to take onto the British after some more softness. And that's it for the French. At the beginning of the British turn, they will play confusion, hoping in some bad dice for the British too. With confusion in play, started the British turn, and they also drew confusion. Now moving in to see which is the tactics for this turn. On the right, no modifier, charge. So the cavalry, the British cavalry, in their impetus will charge whatever they want and they can. Then in the center is engage, so prefer maneuver and fire over melee, and take melee or an advantage. So the light brigade will shoot and then take even better position. On the left they will stay static. They are slightly in disadvantage because they are just taking casualty and no reserve, so a -1 to the roll. A 1 -1 is a relieve. Relieve in attack means you need to only take fire activation. If outnumbered, they will take defensive position, so perfect for the situation. And now moving into the fire for the British, and then a quick recap. I have to say that these British will defend until the last man, but for the moment they are defending very, very well. This battalion here put 3 casualty into the veterans. This battalion in open order here, although concealed by some of the shooter, received fire from the skirmisher of this 4 unit and take 2 casualty, but they hit 4 times in total. So you get 2 casualties, and that's it. On the other side, hussars take 1 casualty from the artillery, and that's it for the fire. I do not put the smoke screen, but they fire into in this unit here and fail to hit anything. Now proceeding into the activation, and remember that no one can get free activation. We'll see. The most interesting one on the camera. The cavalry will charge. No, the cavalry will not. And this is another hit and a British plan. Now proceeding in the rest of the activation, but the most important role is a failure. Very well played by myself, by the French. The confusion, it's a bit of luck, because this dice can change the outcome of the fight between the two cavalry battalions on that side. I handled the movement phase. This brigade, due to their defeat, failed to activate, but they needed to move anywhere. The light brigade with their battalions has taken a slightly advance and spread to maximize their firepower. The center, the King German Legion, has remained in march column, ready to move where they are needed, and only the Portuguese deploy in a line to support the center. On that side, the guard has taken the hill and move at the double towards their target, and the entire infantry brigade has taken line position, while their light battalion down there, the 52nd Highlanders, has taken open order, and the cavalry brace themselves for the inevitable French charge. And the light detachment from the light brigade is put in a march column and sent back to take the village, because I forgot that I have to take it, and they are the less useful unit at the moment, so they will run back and take the objective. The turn end, and the British reply to the confusion among their ranks with a few confusion into the French rank. So no free activation, and we'll see what will happen. French turn. The turn start for the French with a 10. We'll see. And now proceeding to the fire, and then a recap at the end of this phase. The fire erupted all along the line of the French. This two detachment of voltigeurs put another casualty into the 69. One casualty is put in the 51st by the artillery. The combined fire of the skirmisher from these two units put a 2 casualty into the Oxfordshire, 1 into the 95th rifle by the combined fire of these 2 units, and the fire for the skirmisher of the dragoon down there, that unit down here, put 1 casualty in the Monmouthshire. They will shoot with their skirmisher because one tried to rally. This unit skipped the fire, but these 2 artillery shoot into them. And the heavy artillery on that side, on the hill, split their fire into any cavalry squadron and put 1 casualty in both the British lighter dragoon and 2 casualty into the hussars. And that's it for the fire. Now moving into the activation with no free activation due to the confusion played by the British. And the trick paid off also for the Brits, because incredible, but the cavalry failed to activate. I dropped the card number 10 to activate at least the hussars, which reform and fall back, at least take out themselves for a sure destruction. And now, with this disaster in the attack of the French happened, the rest of the unit stuck behind the cavalry. Just the leger failed to rally everything. At least the cavalry detachment managed to roll a 6 and rally themselves. And on the hill, the voltigeur has moved slightly forward, allow the following column of attack to also move slowly forward, and practically that's it. At the end of the British turn, I completely forgot to mention that they were in reserve and they arrive. So the heavy cavalry is arrive and on the road to the main spot of the field. And now moving into the British turn. British turn that start with a surprise attack, and this could be potentially devastating against the French in other situations, but now it is a bottleneck between the woods and the farm with the field that slow down the cavalry. First attack, I save it for later on. See what the EA order for this time. Now the French are in no, there is no evident advantage, so no modifier. A tree is engage is engage melee only if in advantage, and they are not at the moment, so they will not charge but maybe try to rally. And in the center, 4 is the same, probe mean prefer fire over maneuver, and on the left 3 is relieve as before. Probably the 69 that are heavily damaged will try to retreat and left space for the 32 Cornwall battalion. And that's it. Now moving into the fire, and then back for a quick recap. British fire never disappointing, because this skirmisher here failed to hit, and that's okay, but their skirmisher put 1 casualty into the veteran. The fire from the Oxfordshire put another casualty here, the 95th Rifle, 1 casualty in the counterpart of the elite voltigeur downrange, and the Morningshire not only shaken the dragoon but forced them to take a valor test, while the horse artillery put 1 casualty into the chasseur and cheval. So see if the dragoon will fall on a 3+. No, they stay where they are, and that's it for the fire. Now moving into the British activation phase. The rotation of the battalion is successfully happened, so the 92nd Gordon Highlander and the 32nd Cornwall take the place of the battered light battalion in 69. The light battalion failed to activate. The light cavalry activate but failed to rally anything. The rest is simply move forward. The guard down there in the field, beyond the field, take their line position and are ready to support the attack, and heavy cavalry is waiting their moment, while in the center nothing has moved. And now proceeding into the French turn. And the French turn start with a 7 direct fire, more fire somewhere, and now proceeding into the fire phase, and we'll see what will happen at the end of it. A mixed bag for the fire phase for the French. On this side, on the main side of the attack, the fire was effective, but the battery of 12-pounder and this one put 1 casualty here, 0 here, but 2 here, forcing them to a valor test that I'm going to take. And the skirmisher of the dragoon on foot put another casualty on the moment. On that far side, the combined fire of these 2 battalions, just 1 casualty into 95th. The skirmisher of the veteran and 2nd Leger, 1 casualty, and shaken the Oxfordshire. Both the canister of the 2 artillery, just 1 casualty into the 32nd and there, and both the voltigeur on the hill put 1 casualty into the Gordon Highlanders, and that's it for the fire. Now proceeding to the roll for this battalion of Hussar here, and then into the activation for the French. So while on the hill everything stay where they are, and the Leger try in vain to rally and fail miserably to rally everything. This brigade cannot be activated. This brigade here has taken better position, but left space for the retreat of the cavalry, which finally charge. So the fight now begin. Just to move Suchet in order to support the attack and moving to rolling the dice for this big cavalry match. This is the result of the fight between the light cavalry. Here, this squadron needed to take 4 valor tests after the fight with this chasseur and cheval, which ended shaken. This unit had just 1 valor test and put 1 casualty into the chasseur. The dragoon take 3 casualty but force 6 valor test on the hussars of the King German Legion. So moving from here to the tray, a 6 valor test for the hussars, which fail 2 and are gone. 1 valor test for the light dragoon in the center on a 4+. It pass, and 4 valor tests for the light dragoon on the left, and they are also gone. So this put an end to the activation phase, but for the British to take 2 fortitude tests with the first both are on a 4+, because they take at the same time, otherwise one would be on a 5. So 2 fortitude test on a 4+, which both are pass. So this unit is not broken, but I removed this one. This one is forced to retreat, but sadly it has no space to retreat without crossing any unit, so it is gone, and the French will proceed to retreat themselves to safe position. Remove the casualty, take the movement, and back for the British turn. So the British turn will start with a 4. It's a good card, but not in at the moment. So the 4, and this is the situation. The French dragoon retreat. They left the chasseur in front to absorb fire to the second round of charge. Now proceeding into the British fire, and then in the activation to see what they will do. A quite devastating fire for the Brits, because this artillery split their fire. This one shoot at the closest one and force them to take 1 valor test. These 2 combined their fire support and put enough casualty to take to force this chasseur to another 4 valor test. The fire from the 51st shaken the hussars, while the fire from the Monmouthshire shaken the hussars on foot, dragoon on foot. The 95th rifle in the center put 1 casualty in the counterpart. The skirmisher put 1 casualty and shaken the freshly restored light cavalry detachment, while the line of the 32nd force 1 valor test for the Leger in front in open order, and the line on the hill open fire and put 1 casualty into the Voltigeur in front. So proceeding with the valor test for the French unit. This one is gone, this one stay, and the Leger down in the middle stay. So this one is gone, so force 1 fortitude test to the commander is here. It has more than 5 units, so it's a 3+, 2+, because Suchet is beside him, and so no defeat for the cavalry brigade. I proceed to remove the smoke and move into the activation for the Brits. So the farm is occupied by the 1st Scots, which take at the moment the objective. The Black Watch overtake the 51st. They are fresh, they are in line, they try to protect against this battered cavalry. Is could be very risky for the cavalry to charge the Highlanders there. In the center, the fresh Cazador take the place of the shaken Oxfordshire, will move back. The 52nd of the Rifle Brigade failed to rally, while the 69 successfully rallied one of his casualty. The heavy cavalry failed to activate, and the 60 rifle down there take one of the houses to control the objective, and that's moved directly into the French turn. How the French turn start with a forward breakthrough. Could be useful, but not sure that it will be useful at the moment. And now moving into the fire, and then return at the end of it for a quick recap. Also the French fire this time result efficient. 2 casualty in the Gordon. The 32nd is shaken, 1 casualty in the freshly arrived Cazador, another casualty 95th, and the Monmouthshire result shaken by the fire of the skirmisher in front of them. On the side of the farm, the 3 unit of infantry, the line and the 2 column of attacks shoot with their skirmisher into the farm, but failed to do anything. This battery here plus 1 on a hill shoot at this one, but failed to do anything. The other 2 battery put 2 casualty into the Black Watch, and now proceeding to the French activation. Finally, a couple of rally down there. This brigade moved here, while this infantry brigade failed to reach the order, despite the vicinity of Suchet. But the cavalry, which enter bravely into the enemy line on this side, they score 5-8 and receive 5-8, but because they are the charger, they win. And here they score 7-8 and take just 2 in return. So both this battalion is gone, because they are crushed by and dispersed by the cavalry, and the 2 fortitude tests for the brigade, which has 3 units, so is on a 4+. 2 on a 4+. Both are fail, and this means 2 defeat for the Wallace Brigade and a spread of casualty around their partner units. Now proceeding to remove the casualty, make the retreat for the French cavalry, and back to the British turn. So the British start their turn with a king, a perfect volley, and after the melee, the French play its card to move the infantry, which is failed before to activate, to move closer to the objective, and that's it. Now proceeding into the British fire, and then I return at the end of it for a quick recap. So another blistering fire for the Brits, which use a perfect volley on the light brigade, and this is the outcome. 1 test on the hussars from the combined fire of the artillery, 1 test of them from the skirmisher of the 51st, 1 test for the hussar, for the dragoon from the fire of the Monmouthshire. They shaken their counterpart. The Cazador failed miserably, but the line put 1 casualty into the front regiment and forced them to take a test, and the line up the hill shaking the voltigeur in front. So proceeding, the 2nd Leger fail and gone. The dragoon gone. They also gone. Everything's flee. Oh, I forgot to mention, this is the last British turn, because it's time running short, so it's gone, it's gone, it's gone. So, one fortitude test for the Leger on a 4+, it passed, and two fortitude tests for this unit here. They remain 1, 2, 3. Oh, I had to take the test for the Dragoon back there. They stay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. There was 8, so they are less than 5, and a 4 on a 3+, because the proximity of Suchet. 2 on a 3. Whoa, 2 failed, and this could be potentially devastating for the cavalry, because I have to take, due to the home rule, another test for here and for here. 2 valor tests. One stay, and the Dragoon is gone. So very bad morale this time for the French, where I proceed to remove the casualty and move into the British activation. On the British left side, they simply hold. They try to rally but fail. They overtake the shaken battalion, French battalion, so they will hold the last French turn. On that side, something interesting, because the heavy dragoons using surprise attack can gain an extra move with one of this unit, charges successfully into the chasseur en cheval, and this could be enough to crush them and break through into the Swiss line on the back and cause havoc in the French brigade on the verge of the last turn. We'll see what has happened in a second after the recap. As usual, the heavy British Dragoon proved themselves very powerful. They crush the chasseur en cheval, taking 2 casualty, then crush the Swiss, begin shaking, but they now force 2 valor tests, one for this infantry brigade and one again for the cavalry, and then they can move back a little bit, put themselves quite safe, if not safe at all. They use deadly and all-out assault, but it's a waste of card because they crush easily both the units. I forgot to mention at the beginning of the turn, the right flank order attack and probe on both sides in the center and down there. So, one fortitude test for the cavalry brigade. This time is at a 4+, because it's gone under the 50%, but is close to Suchet. So no is good now, and 1 on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is on a 2+ for the infantry, and they also pass. So the plan of the Brits works just in part, because he cannot cause more defeat, and now they play breakthrough to move further a brigade. The turn of the game, last turn for the French, which drew an 8. Main inspiration to automatically pass a Valor Fortitude test. The British use breakthrough to move his cavalry far than a simple retreat. This unit before retreat and then take a movement, and this take a movement, so it's quite safe now. So they try to do not offer more defeat to the enemy. And now starting the French turn with a fire and a recap at the end of it. And the last fire turn is quite effective for the French too. This artillery shoot into the farms and put 2 casualty in the first Scot. 2 casualty on the Marechal, which will have to take 2 valor tests. The 95th was reduced to shaken status. Everything missed into the Cazador. 1 test into the 51st, and the Gordon Highlanders, as you can see, the yellow tag are shaken too. So the fire phase look promising for the French. Now we'll see the activation, because I can see that this objective will be probably contested at best, because even if I dislodge the first rifle, the guards will contest it. Otherwise I will contest it for the French. I don't know if I want to risk the Dragoon in a charge, but this could be potentially a game winner, so probably I sacrifice them. I take all or nothing at all, and on that side I plan a last turn charge into the hill, not to control but to force the British to take as much fortitude test as possible, because I see a lot of contested objective. Now, the two valor tests for the Monmouthshire on a 3+. One is failed, so this unit gone. On the 52nd down there is also gone. So, one fortitude for the Light Brigade. They have still 1, 2, 3, 4 unit, 4 active unit, plus the proximity of the overall commander. So is on a 3+, and they pass. And the same for the Line Brigade on a 3+. Oh, they fail it, and this is a good news, because this means that they take a defeat, and both the Gordon Highlanders and the 32nd have to take their valor test to not flee in the front of the enemy. The Gordon Highlanders fail, and the 32nd stay, so this is interesting situation. Anyway, another defeat to the Brits. I'll proceed to removing the casualty and activate the French for the last assault. So the activation is done. Vistula veterans charge the farm, supported by their partner unit. The Dragoon charge into the line of guard, because I think that I have the card to automatically pass a fortitude test fail. So even if they fail and break, I can avoid a defeat on the cavalry thanks to the inspiration card. Interesting perspective here. The departure of the 52nd and the Gordon Highlanders open interesting possibility, because this one charge 3-4 into the 69, they reach it. They cannot reach over support, and the veteran barely reach the 32nd, and so they crash into the line with the support of the Voltigeur. And now we'll see if the British can hold the line at least this turn and still contest the hill. Oh, this could be game changing in the terms of point, because I cannot see how I can get the farm down there. I cannot imagine the guard that fail and fled. So we'll see. Rolling the dice and back at the end of it for a quick final recap. So the fights are done, and on the hill the French beat badly the British. The 69th have to take a 3 valor test, and 5 have to take the 32nd. So the 3 valor test for the 69 on a 4+, they are gone, and the 5 for the 32nd, and they also gone. And this mean that I have to take the fortitude test, but the brigade is destroyed. So 2 fortitude tests, both fail, and this, but I had to double check, but I see that it takes 3 defeat, 2 for the 2 beaten battalion, plus 1 for the brigade that was destroyed. But this means that the hill is in the end of the French here. And now moving into the other side. This side, as I predicted, the guard held barely, but they are shaken, but they held, inflicting 4 valor tests for the Dragoon, which roll 4 dice and gone. So I have to take a fortitude test for the cavalry, which is passed. I do not need the card. And here the Vistula veteran put a 3 Fortitude Valor test on the first Scot. So 3 Valor tests for the Scots, which fail one and gone, so they overtake into the house, but it was contested by the guard. They are far gone. So removing the casualty and back for the recap of the end of the battle. So the farm was taken by the Vistula veteran, but contested by the guard. The center held the hill is in the hand of the French at the end of the day, and while the sunset covered the field, this is the final result. It's not a crushing victory, but it's a decisive victory for the French, with get 7 defeats from the British plus 5 points, the total of 12 points against 2 defeats considered and 2 points the hill and the village for the British. So 12 to 4. The majority of the British army is still alive, and in my opinion, one decisive mistake was made by me deciding the card for the attacker. I probably have to choose an equal attack on all the 3 fronts, because I left, the AA left an entire brigade waiting to move somewhere, and they essentially stay still in the center when they can put its help on the left flank or crush the French center, forcing the reserve for the French to cope with the incoming British. And this probably is the reason of the British defeat. And a couple of failure activation, but both sides have failed activation, so this counterbalance one with another. The battery on the hill with artillerists, which allowed to take choose the target, again is very good. It's not fundamental because they do not eat very often. Plus, they cannot use the battery rules because they were not deployed there from the beginning of the game. It's good, but it's not essential. I want to try it. I like it. I cannot manage to use mixed order due to the fact that the real attack both came in a close spot, and a column of assault is good enough, proved itself good enough. On the hill and on the field down here. The mixed order were not applicable to this time. Anyway, it's a very fun game after quite a bit from my last one, and now I have to retire everything, put that back on the shelf. I hope to see you as soon as possible. If you like this video, please think to subscribe and press the like button below. For any comment, I'm here to reply you. Thank you again for watching, and bye bye.